These hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot mess, honey. So yes.
I hate to be the friend who's too woke right now, but I fear I must. Jasmine Crockett is currently under fire for calling Greg Abbott Hot Wheels because, he's in a wheelchair type. Let me tell you why I don't agree with her joke. And to be honest, it's not even for the reason you might think. Is the joke ableist? Yes. Do I necessarily care that somebody was being ableist to somebody who is literally a bigot and is trying to strip away people's rights? Well, no. I think Jasmine specifically has taken her bleach, butch, blonde, built, whatever moment and is stretching it. And any chance she gets in front of a microphone, she is trying to have those sound bites. And I think at some point, it's really just performative, dare I say. And I'm not trying to down on this Black woman politician who is probably doing everything she can when she's working to make sure that we have our rights. But I'm always call a spade a spade. And I know performativeness when I see it, sister, I do. Because what are you really doing? Other than egging on the bullshit that's going on with Congress. One thing I'm always going to say is I think that we don't need to be overly nice to these Republicans, right? I'm not sitting here trying to say we need to have respectability politics. I'm not saying that we need to, just be buddy-buddy with them and be like, oh, we're just going to turn the other cheek. We just need to be the bigger people. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is you getting on the podium and insulting things that they cannot help about themselves isn't doing anything.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett may be censured by the U.S. House of Representatives. The calls for a public rebuke come after she made controversial comments over the weekend about Governor Greg Abbott. NBC5's Phil Prazen has more.
Houston area Congressman Randy Weber has filed a motion to censor Dallas Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett over these comments over the weekend.
Thank you so much, Morgan, because we in these hot Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot mess, honey.
She said that during a speech for the Human Rights Campaign in Los Angeles. While still new to Congress, Crockett has already built a reputation for brash talk and controversial statements, not backing down in an environment of heated rhetoric. She told Lone Star Politics this past weekend Democrats need to get tougher with their messaging.
So when you're sitting up in a debate with Greg Abbott, it's okay to be indignant because this is a guy that also on his watch has had women die.
On the Hot Wheels comments, she posted online, quote, I wasn't thinking about the governor's condition. I was thinking about the planes, trains, and automobiles he used to transfer migrants into communities led by Black mayors, deliberately stoking tension and fear among the most vulnerable. That, a reference to the state's Operation Lone Star migrant busing program. Governor Abbott has not yet responded. He's used the wheelchair since the 1980s after a tree fell on him while jogging. Republican Attorney General Ken Paxton called Crockett despicable. Senator John Cornyn called the comments shameful. Crockett may now be the next member of Congress censored after Houston area Democrat Al Green was when he was kicked out of the chamber during President Trump's address to Congress. Phil Prazen, NBC5.
Well, Greg Abbott did respond, and this is what he had to say.
You had an accident at 26, and you were jogging, and you had a very severe injury, and yes, you are in a wheelchair, and I've gotten to know you. You're a personal friend of mine. I take it personally when friends of mine are attacked viciously for no reason, and there's no way in hell that this woman and her ex-post is going to convince me she meant anything other than what we all believe it to be. Your reaction?
Well, Sean, is another day and another disaster by the Democrats. The reality is they have no vision, no policy. They have nothing to sell but hate. And Americans are not buying it. It's one reason why Texas is going to remain red and why Republicans are going to continue to win elections across the country. The fact, Sean, is that Texas is actually in direct contrast to what she was talking about. Texas has ranked #1 for the most new jobs in America over the past month, #1 for the most new jobs over the past year, and for several years. Texas ranks #1 for the most new economic development projects for 13 years in a row. CEOs who run businesses have ranked Texas the best state for doing business for 20 years in a row. And Texas is in the vanguard as it concerns the future of the United States, such as space exploration, such as artificial intelligence, such as semiconductors, as well as power generation. The bottom line is that Republican states like Texas are leading the way, and with comments like this by Democrats, we will just leave them in the dust in future elections.
Crockett insists she was talking about Abbott's policies and not alluding to his condition, before adding that MAGA can't really say anything because they support a president who has mocked disabled people in the past. It is worth noting, Scott, that she has in the past made a tweet that did refer to wheels and rolling before.
Yeah, and she tried to walk it back and obviously forgot about her previous commentary using that exact same insult. I don't know how the Democrats came to appoint Jasmine Crockett as the unquestioned leader of your party, but thank God. And I think what she should do is go on TV twice as much as she is right now, maybe 3 times as much, because every time she appears and makes one of these mistakes, says something radical, it only further divides her party from the rest of the other 80% of America who can't stand this. But the problem is there's an audience for it. I heard Jimmy Kimmel's audience cheering on Tesla vandalism. I hear the Daily Show audience cheering on attacks on Elon Musk. I hear the human rights audience cheering on an attack on a man in a wheelchair. And I realize this is what the left has become, an angry mob of people who are cheering on attacks on a guy in a wheelchair and vandalism against people who bought a Tesla. It's pathetic.
I think actions speak louder than words. And in this instance, I think we have a president who, when the plane crash happened in Washington, D.C., he blamed it on people with disabilities. When RFK says that autism is a threat to the American way of life, which is a disability, apparently the White House has ended ASL, American Sign Language interpreters, and briefings, which is making it inaccessible. Questioning and gutting Social Security, which a lot of disabled people rely on, Medicaid, Medicare, people rely on. And in his first campaign, mocking disability. 2 wrongs don't make a right, but actions speak louder than words. And the policies of the Republican, including undermining special education, ID, the Individuals with Disability and Education Act, making sure that schools are not going to be accessible. Those are the actions of this administration. Those are the actions of the Republican Party. I would rather folks be demonizing those things than...
But to be clear, you don't agree with what she said, right?
Well, her explanation was that she wasn't referring to that policy. If she
so you buy that?
But here's the thing. If you make fun of somebody because of their disability, I do not agree with that. As a person with a disability, as a person who has family members with a disability, as a person who has taught children with a disability, that is not acceptable. She said that's not what she was doing, and so I know Jasmine, and I believe Jasmine if that's what she was saying.
I don't know her yet. She's new. She's young, and she's trying to find her way. I think that this party is scrambling, trying to seem tough. And I'm seeing this party traffic in a lot of curse words. That's supposed to be like the new cool thing to do. I don't think that that's going to be as useful. I've even heard Pete Buttigieg with a whole bunch of curse words. I don't know who gave that memo. I don't think that's very useful. I think you have to be very careful when you're talking about people with disabilities. And I don't think she was careful. And I don't know her enough to say she's not being honest. But I'm going to tell you, it sounded bad. And I just want to finish. I think this party is trying to find a way to look tough and to show fight, but this is not the way. I don't think the cursing is going to work. I think I've been on stage and I've gotten a little bit hyped sometimes too. I hope that she will take this as lessons. You talked about learning lessons, that type of stuff. It doesn't sound to me like she's actually taking full responsibility. If that's true, I don't like it, and she can't do that again. She's too important to us to do that again.
What I fear is that no lesson could ever be learned as long as you're doing these things in front of audiences who roar when you do it.
Now, Congresswoman Crockett denies she was mocking Abbott's disability. She says she was referring to his use of trains, planes, and automobiles to transfer migrants around the country. She should not have made the comment at all. But Joy...
Yeah, well, I was just thinking when I saw this about, where was the outrage from Abbott when Trump was doing this?
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Maybe that's what I said.
Well, that was about a reporter named Serge Kovaleski who suffered from a condition that restricts joint movement. And he had interviewed Trump many times in the 80s. So he was basically making fun of the guy's disability. And I didn't hear the outrage then. Not that she's right or wrong.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about
Nobody
her,
should be
she was
yeah.
looking for a way to say hot mess and hot wheels.
Yeah.
And, you should leave that stuff to the comedians.
I think she should just own it because Jasmine Crockett is a very talented politician.
Yeah.
Crockett, sorry, is a very talented communicator, politician. She's effective. People gravitate towards her. This was beneath her because Marjorie Taylor Greene, we expect that. That's the only way she can get a headline is by saying crazy stuff and then everyone looks. Representative Crockett is so much better than this. So I think it would have been really relatable because the rest of that speech, if you watch it, she's really impassioned. She says, I'm going off script. What I love a politician to do is say, you know what, I said that. I shouldn't have said that, and then move on because then everyone would move on with her. Yeah. She's just too good for this.
I agree with that because I respect her, but it's just never okay to mock someone's disability, whether you're Donald Trump or Jasmine Crockett. And he was paralyzed from the waist down, Governor Abbott, and when he was 29 years old, a tree fell on him. It's a tragedy, whether you like him or not. That's just off limits. And I think it raises this bigger point that we encounter in the Trump era where just because he or some people like him go low, if we all go low back in response, then you just end up down in the mud. Things don't get better then. And right now, there's this whole question, like, should Democrats fight harder? Should they name call back? Should they shout? I think they should be strategic. I think they should. I don't think that the names help. I think right now there's a Wisconsin Supreme Court race that Elon Musk is pouring millions of dollars into to get the Republicans seated. Democrats have a chance to fight there and have a strategic, tangible impact. Or Mike Waltz's seat in Florida, the national security advisor, is up in a special election. You could win a House seat. Do that rather than the name calling and trying to get headlines.
But the reason Donald Trump has all of these people following him is because he did that name calling. It attracts the press in a way.
Yeah, demagogues are going to demagogue.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I was just going to say, you have to be so careful with what you say.
You do.
Because your intentions may have been absolutely what you say. But once people hear you say something, it is not about what you said. It's about what they think your intentions are. So everybody's got to be really careful.
How about sometimes we have a headline about Whoopi and Joy, and then when you read the article, they love each other. They love each other.
I should know,
so that's
though,
another
she'd
lie.
made the joke before about him at Hot Wheels numerous times.
And what did she say that time?
There was like 3 or 4 examples. She referred to him as Governor Hot Wheels, said he was rolling up to the White House, said he... I
think that...
Not a good idea.
You just don't mock people with disabilities. I mean,
you don't mock people.
You don't mock people. I was going to say you just don't mock people at all. And I admire Jasmine Crockett. I do think she's an effective messenger. I think this was a mistake. And I think when you make a mistake, you have to own it. You have to do that because it gives you a lot more credibility when you do that. I did not know that Governor Abbott was a paraplegic. I had no idea that he went around, and the people in the audience also are shaking their heads. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was, a tree fell on him when he was 26. A lot of his photos are taken from the step down, from the waist up. But she is the representative from Texas, so she very much so must have known that he is in a wheelchair. And so I hope that she does the right. They want to censure her for it, and I don't know that that's not appropriate, but it is appropriate for her to apologize.
If you want me to take everything you say when he talks about different people, you said, no, I was just joking. Okay, then let's all do that right now and say, she made a mistake. And we're going to move on. We're not censoring people. We're not going to do it. We're going to say to people, just don't do it. Don't make jokes. As Joy says, what is it?
Leave it to the comedian.
Yeah, the Democrats are cooked. They're absolutely cooked. The infighting from the Democrats that we're witnessing right now is just glorious. When you have people like The View and Van Jones not siding with a Democrat, I mean, hell must have frozen over. Right? Hell must have frozen over. These people never hold their own party accountable. I wonder what has changed. And it's funny that she was saying that they didn't know that Greg Abbott was in a wheelchair. If you're in politics like these ladies claim to be, or a political commentator, and you've been this for a while, and you have not seen Greg Abbott in a wheelchair, you don't know that Greg Abbott is in a wheelchair, you have not been paying attention, especially with this whole migrant crisis and him busing people. If you've been talking about that and you've been watching his speeches, you should have known that he was in a wheelchair. Not knowing that Greg Abbott is in a wheelchair. I mean, he's the governor of one of the biggest and most powerful states in the union. If you don't know Greg Abbott is in a wheelchair, it's like me not knowing Gavin Newsom is a vampire, right? Or a lizard. Yo, these people are absolutely delusional. But I love to witness the infighting. And once again, if you have people like Van Jones, The View, and what Sunny Hostin said, this is the first time that I've ever agreed with Sunny Hostin. When you make a stupid mistake like that, like what Jasmine Crockett did, it's best to just come out and say, you know what, it was a mistake. I shouldn't have did it. But if you continue to gaslight and dance around what you said and come up with BS excuses, bro, I mean, that's the problem that Democrats have right now, is lack of credibility. Nobody trusts anything that these people have to say. Every time that they're being called out in how bad they did with the economy, how bad they did with the border, the whole Ukraine situation, all that, they just gaslight. They dance around it, right? Instead of actually admitting and saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, we messed up on the economy. Yeah, we messed up on the border. Maybe we should have did this instead of that. Instead of coming out and saying those things, Jasmine Crockett does exactly what typical Democrats do, is gaslight. Oh, that's not what I said. I wasn't talking about his disability. Come on, Jasmine. You really must think that your constituents and the American people are stupid. You must really think we're stupid. And she actually believes that. She believes that we are stupid, that we're going to believe what she has to say, right? And I can't stand every single time that a Democrat does something, all of these people come out and say, well, what about Donald Trump? What about Donald Trump? Well, Trump did this and Trump did that. Well, it doesn't matter what Trump did. What Jasmine did was wrong. It's like they can't seem to call out the wrongdoings of their own party, their own people, without bringing Trump into it. I wonder what these people are going to do when Trump is no longer in office. Like, who are you going to compare yourself to? Because that's what they tend to do, right? They always set themselves up to be at the highest moral standard of Donald Trump. So when somebody does something and you go out and compare yourself to Donald Trump, well, technically you're stooping low to that standard, right? You're supposed to be better than him. So you're not even supposed to be doing these things. And if you do these things, you're supposed to call him out. You're supposed to apologize and make amends. Not gaslight and lie and try to dance around and just pretend as if like we're not going to know what you're talking about. I'm sick and tired of that. Every single time these people come out and do something wrong, they always say, oh, what about Trump? What if Trump did this, or Trump did that, or Trump said this, or Trump said that? Bro, okay. All right. So what? We know who Trump is. We know what Trump is going to do. But you're the one that said that you are better than Trump. So if you do something that is to the level of Donald Trump, that's what you're actually admitting is what when Joy was like, well, Trump said that. Well, you're actually admitting that what Jasmine Crockett did is on the same level as what Donald Trump did, right? So if you're demonizing Donald Trump for what he said, then you have to come out and denounce and condemn what Jasmine Crockett said. That's the standard that you set for yourself and for your own party. So you can't be a hypocrite. You can't. Anyway, man, these people are entertaining to watch. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your opinions are down below in the comment section. Hit the like button. Really helps the channel out. And, of course, if you are brand new, consider subscribing. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.